and just stay the F away from Mahomes if he gets rid of the ball because we all know what's going to happen. I mean, I watched like a clip on Instagram or social media the other day. It was comparing and contrasting the playoff games of Hurts getting hit, Jared Goff getting freaking stunned in the face, no flags, and then it's like Mahomes getting barely tapped and guys reaching in his pocket before he even hits the ground. And like, I mean, but listen, he's got the Mahomes effect, right? What Brady used to get and what all these great quarterbacks used to get. They're if he gets thrown to the ground after he throws, he's getting those flags. So just to Buffalo, just play smart, play your game, and yeah, again, I'm with you on what the head and the heart here. It's going to be tough to win in Kansas City, but I'm pulling for Buffalo. I really am.
The Mahomes effect. I'm curious as a former player, how do you view that?
Um, I think it's gotten a little. The refs have got a little carried away with some of these calls and the rough in the passer calls. And I mean, I think the crew that had the Chiefs in their playoff game, the Chiefs are like 8-0 when that crew is officiating the game. So I think it really comes down to who's officiating the crew, what they're looking for. You always before every single game, in early on in the week, you would get a scouting report of the officials, and
Mhm.
you say, okay, this crew it leads the league in offensive holding and defensive pass interference, and personal fouls. These are the things that they're looking for. This is what they lead the league in. This is what they're throwing the most flags. So if I'm the Bills, I'm really really taking a probably closer look at that this week, knowing who's going to be officiating this game and knowing what they're going to be looking to call.
Mhm.
I'm looking at it, man, because I would hate to go into see this game come down and be controlled by the officials because I think a lot of the Chiefs games this year there's been some pretty big calls that have affected these games. And I'm not taking anything away from the Chiefs. They have earned what they have got. They are in the AFC Championship game for a reason. But listen, there's been some ticky tack calls that where probably flag should have stayed in the pocket, but because of Mahomes and who he is, and he's the NFL Golden Boy now, we're more apt to kind of throw that flag. If he gets hit or someone puts a hand in his face or something like that. So I mean, listen, Josh Allen's no different. So if Mahomes is going to get the calls, I would just hope that they're calling this game and officiating it equally on both sides and kind of let just unless it's blatant, man, like let this come down to football. Don't let this come down to officiating. So again, that's on the Bills though. That's on the Bills. Play this game smart. Play this game the right way. Take it out of the officials' hands and just put it in yours and see what you guys are able to do in Arrowhead. It's going to be, I mean, listen, I haven't looked at the temperature, but I got to imagine it's going to be cold as shit and it's going to be loud as hell. So nothing they're not used to because it looked cold. It looked cold in Buffalo the other night when the Ravens were playing. But again, that's something that they're used to. But again, Arrowhead, AFC Championship, I know what that's like. It's going to be a crazy environment. And they've been there before. So again, the heart is Bill's Mafia right now. It really
Mhm.
is.
You bring up the officiating, and I'm glad you do. I have a quick, or we talk about officiating, and something that kind of relates to wide receiver blocking a little bit. I heard Julian Edelman tell a story about the color of the gloves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can you kind of, and why that's important as it relates to officiating, if you're a wide, regardless of who you are, but in this case, as a wide receiver, can you tell people why that's important and maybe the decision-making process over the course of the week that even comes down to the color of your gloves, why that impacts the game on Sunday?
Well, Bill used to get all, he used to give Jules the most amount of shit because he used to wear those red gloves, right? That's all he had. He had thousands of pairs of these red cutters that he used to always wear. But Bill would always say, like, we would know what color the away team would be wearing, and said, listen, if you're going to be wearing red gloves, they're wearing white jerseys, your gloves stick out. And if you're going to be on the side or you're going to be out there on the, on the outside, and you grab a guy like this, it sticks out more. So he used to always tell the receivers or even the offensive linemen, if they were guys that wore gloves, wear the same color. Wear the same color gloves or don't wear gloves at all if you're on the inside, because it's something that like kind of draws the attention of the officials straight to your hands because of just the color differential. So um sure, if we want to go take it that far for Buffalo, then yeah, man, if they're wearing red gloves, then put some red gloves on, put some red Buffalo gloves on, and to match their jerseys so that maybe it blends in, you can get away with a couple holding calls.
I love being able to dial down to that specific a thing to look for, the
Yeah,
color of the gloves. And I remember Edelman with always with the red gloves. And again, like you
always.
said, Bill giving him a shit about it. And so something to look for on Sunday. If you're a Buffalo wide receiver, maybe you break out the red gloves to avoid, any red flags when it comes to potential holding or whatever the case may be.